this issue gets super intense. This is X Factor 85, X-Cutioner Song, Part 6. And I got to say, going back through this, I remember when I first read this as a kid, looking at the artwork. This is Jae Lee, by the way. As a kid, I was like, this is a little scratchy compared to how X-Force and X-Men looked. However, going back now, for what was going on in X Factor, this was definitely, in my opinion, the right art choice. Let me know what you guys think. But before we dive into everything that I'm talking about, let's talk about who made this book. This is Peter David writing, R.I.P. good sir. Jae Lee, pencils. Al Milgrom was the inks. Glynis Oliver was the colors. Richard Starkings, the letters. Kelly Converse was the editor. Bob Harris, group editor, and Tom DeFalco, editor-in-chief. Last issue. I didn't want to spoil it when we went over it, so I'm going to kind of spoil it here. Essentially, Bishop and Wolverine infiltrate Department K to get records on Cable, which they end up running into the man himself. And I love how they're just like, you! It's going to be one of those days. And that's how the book ended. That's pretty badass. So as we open up to it, see how, okay, so even though the action, the clean lines from Kubert in this book are really nice. No, wait, this is X-Force, right? Hold on, my brain's not braining. Hold on a second. This was, okay, so this was X-Men, and this was, who's the penciler? Brendan Peterson. Okay, so there's that. Nice and clean, and it serves the story very well, the way that they're fighting. But I don't know, there was just something the way about the stark colors and inks that Milgrom, Jae Lee, and Oliver used to just add to this intensity, where it says the records room of Department K, where a chaotic information gathering expedition by Wolverine and Bishop as part of their endeavor to track down Charles Xavier's suspected assailant, Cable, has just experienced a new twist. And just kind of using that sets the stage in these dark, negative spaces, really just kind of helps draw the eye to what we're looking at. And then just nothing has exploded yet. You're feeling that tension. And Cable says, "It's certainly a situation that's rife with possibilities. I don't imagine that one of these possibilities that you give me 5 minutes alone in this file room and then permit me to go on my way unmolested, perhaps." And Bishop, we've seen how hair trigger Bishop has been lately. The way that he just straight up shot Sinister. So he just busts out, "Murderer!" And I just love how they didn't even add like a typical word balloon. For me, after watching some of the examples that Bad Ink Studios does on TikTok, the way that people, a lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of the craft of using lettering has been dying. And just seeing how they add just that blood red scream from Bishop, and then him, of course, firing his rifle. Back when these used to have to be penciled and inked before, nowadays where, you can buy, what are these called? Onomatopoeias, I believe is what that's called, when something is called what it sounds like. I always get that and palindromes mixed up. A palindrome is when you read something either direction. Okay, moving on. I just love this. And then you get that even though this is a more violent panel, just the use of the blood and the intensity here just feels like something you'd see like in Jack Kirby's New Gods or something. And that's just kind of how I feel, in my opinion. And so these three go at it. And I love how Logan just says, "I only need your mouth intact to talk. So the number of limbs you'll keep while you give me those answers is strictly up to you." And before we can even get more into it, just leaves you hanging like a TV scene. You're just like, oh, okay, we're going to the other plot. And it just says Dust Bowl, Arkansas. Now, if you're just tuning in with us, X-Force has been on the run since quote-unquote Cable assassinated Professor X, because though, in my opinion, if Sam would have just came straight to the mansion, yeah, I think tempers would be high, but talking, I feel, would have been a lot smarter. But he's young. They ran. I get it. But they got captured. Alex and I don't remember who off the top of my head. My brain just goes, but it's Alex and Gambit. Cut him a deal saying, "Help us hunt down Cable then." They give him his uniform back. And I just thought about it says Dust Bowl, Arkansas. Excuse me. Thanks. Appreciate it. Excuse me, y'all. My name's Cannonball. And we here are free representatives of 3 mutant groups. Now all are referencing based on past battles combined with the government databases indicates that the Mutant Liberation Front has their main hangout hereabouts. Further, we have reason to believe that their leader Strife attempted to blow away Charles Xavier. So I'd like to know if y'all have seen the MLF around anywhere. And you're thinking that's so freaking random. And even Storm's like, Alex, I still do not like this open approach. Being overt throws off people who are expecting covert Storm. Just trust me on this. And it just, again, shows how far at this time and period, how far Alex has come from just kind of being in Cyclops' shadow. And I feel like he's, in this time period, he really came into his own. And right here, after Sam asks this just random country boy style, we get, Alex, how about that? After 9 possible towns, finally got a nibble. And again, all right, y'all are under arrest. And it just becomes a full freaking battle in just the middle of nowhere. We get boom, boom, and I just mean it's everywhere. And before we can even start to appreciate the battle, it just sort of like rips it away from you. Like, I want more. Because then it says, one of Cable's safe houses in Switzerland. We see Cable. Yeah, this is Cable. Apocalypse infiltrates it. This technology, which pervades every corner of Cable's little hidey hole, derived from me, from my technology, my work. It's unmistakable. But from where would Cable have garnered such knowledge? The only people who could possibly have been familiar enough with the workings of my former ship were the members of X-Factor, Cyclops and his ilk. None of them would cooperate with Cable. Could one of them actually be Cable? That's ridiculous. How could a member of X-Factor be Cable? For that matter, why would they choose to? Of course. What if there was no choice? Now think about reading this, putting yourself in the eyes of 1992, right? 1992? Yeah, we'll go with 1992. I think it was either 91 or 92. Moving on. We don't know a whole hell of a lot about Apocalypse, Strife, Cable. They're all just literally these X factors in these stories. We don't know their relationships to the degree that we should. We know sort of from the first, was it New Mutants, either 86 or 87. I can't remember if it's the cameo or first full appearance of Strife, where we see that he has the same face recognition as. Another thing that kind of throws me for a loop here is I can't remember if this happened before or after the adventures of Cyclops and Phoenix, where Mother Ascani sends Jean and Cyclops into the future to care for a young Nathan Summers, or Nathan Dayspring, as they call him. I can't remember if that happened before or after this. Anyway, I think it was after, because I think they get her and Cyclops get married in, what is it, X-Men 30? And it's on their honeymoon that they're sent to the future. So I think it takes place after X-Men 30. Let me know. I always canonically get screwed up. But anyway, going back through all that, we don't know Apocalypse's relationship to Strife and all that jazz is what I'm trying to get at. And of course, the battle rages. And Logan knocks Cable into this thing. He goes, beautiful. The army, a cornucopia of mayhem. Cable, there you are, is nowhere to go. Why should I go anywhere, kid? I like it here. And just the one-offs between each other is just so great. He shoots Bishop. I am not a kid. I am Bishop. And if you knew anything about me, then you would know that shooting me with an energy weapon is the last thing you'd want to do. Point taken. Now, things get intense. Yes, there's a battle here, but what really hits here is Archangel kind of starts to go freaking beast mode. You know, in my younger days, in one of my rare moods of depression, I'd wonder if any mutant power more stupid than just that of having wings and flapping around. To finally, I get the answer to that question. And so he's getting attacked, and he's like, actually, I was just letting you off easy. And then this guy, idiot, he maneuvered so that I could take you unawares. I despise sneak attacks, but Kamikaze will take his victories any way he... Holy crap. Warren's wings fucking decapitates this dude. And boom, boom. It's like, hey, fellas, I was having a really good day. How's about you? Sure glad Sam managed to talk him into springing me for this little caper. I can't wait to meet the head of this organ. Huh? I love how Peter David's, again, dark humor. And we see Warren turn around, his wings covered in blood, and boom, boom's just all, it touched me. Who cut off Kamikaze's head? Me, blood on my wings. Dear God, he must have come up from behind me and got in the way of my wings while I was turning. Well, I guess with a name like Kamikaze, you just know he's going to buy it. It's hardly a moment for levity. I was just trying to make you feel better. Don't. It's so freaking morbid, but you can't help but laugh a little bit. Now again, things intensify. And what I love about Logan is they beat Cable down pretty hard. But yeah, something happens towards the end that I don't want to give away. I want you guys to go read X Factor 85. It just has the perfect blend, in my opinion, of comedy, dark, intense moments, and it feels like X-Men. And Jae Lee's art on top of Milgrom's inks and Oliver's colors, and then Richard Starkings, of course, has always done a lot of great X-Men lettering. It just accumulates in a great issue overall. So if you've enjoyed what you've seen, please first and foremost support your local comic shopper, wherever it is you get your action figures and comics, and grab these in the single trades, or the single floppies, or the collected trades as you see here. Or if you're on a budget, check out your local library, because that's how I was able to get my hands on this collected trade to read, which, as I said before, saves me from having to go through all my freaking long boxes to dig out every single issue. So have all those options. And if you've enjoyed this review, really would appreciate taking a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Helps the channel more than you could possibly know. And if you don't mind hitting that fancy little archangel bell next, subscribe. That way I can get upload content. You guys get notified. Come to the channel. And I love talking with y'all and hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments or the socials, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description. So with all that said, hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, everyone.